we're living, boys. This is your rank 1 challenger Briar guide. I'm not gonna lie, this information is so fresh, it should be a Prince in Bel-Air. This video will generally cover the most competitive information to get you into ranked ASAP and not running it down. I think it's very important for me to say that Briar can do so many different things, so when you talk to the Briar community, you will find that a lot of people run different things. It is both a blessing and a curse, but it's easy to get lost in, so I'm telling you that now so that you know it when you see it. Now I'm going to talk to you a little bit about runes. Runes, this is by far the best page. It's not even close, and every single thing has a purpose. So right here, if you don't know what press attack does, it's hitting an enemy champion with 3 consecutive basic attack, deals a big burst of damage, and then gives you 8% damage amp until you leave combat with champions. So Briar applies that really easily with her spells. Her Q, it counts as an auto attack, and her W2 does. So if you don't know her spells, we'll get into that later. The TLDR of this is that this is a very easy rune to get maximum value out of, no matter what game or build you play. Triumph is an awesome rune for fighting. It basically just gives you a bunch of health back when you get a takedown, so kill or assist, and gives you extra gold. In the legend spot, basically these are like scaling-ish runes. One is attack speed, one is ability haste, and then one is lifesteal. Ability haste is best for Briar. She needs all 3 spells to function correctly, and legend haste just allows you to do that. An extra auto attack here and there really isn't as valuable as having your E. Again, we'll go over abilities later. Then you're left with a last choice of the bottom row of where you want your damage. So this is 8% more to people that are low health. This is 8% more to people who are high health. And then you have this weird mix one where it's when you are lower health, you get more damage, and it's pretty cool. Overall, last stand I like more for lane Briar, but this is more of a jungle guide, so I would say go with coup de grace every time. Make sure that you're lasting these kills. Now, secondary runes get a little interesting. This is the most consistent rune page. That's what makes it really good. Climbing is all about consistency, and this one allows you to do that. So free boots, what this allows you to do is, one, it just gives you better boots with 10 more movement speed. In jungle, buying items is very good, like completing full items. On top of the fact that Briar's first item is her biggest power spike within a game. No matter what item you get first, her first item is the most important. So this is 300 gold that you don't have to put somewhere else. Very, very useful. And then Cosmic Insight gives you Summoner Spell Haste, so you get more flashes. Briar sometimes finds herself in weird spots. It is what it is. Extra flash is good, and then item haste works with certain builds that you play. For these specific shards, I will say just adaptive force is just attack damage. That's the best certain stat for her in this page because of the fact that she already gives herself so much attack speed that this is kind of overkill. When you do a bunch of small damage autos, it's not as useful as just some huge damage autos. And then flat health or scaling health, that's more preference. I will say flat health makes your jungle pet deal more damage. I don't know if you knew that, but your jungle pet scales. And more flat health helps your earlier clears. So this one's found a lot of value now, and I suggest it to you for sure. Now, if we wanted to talk about domination rune secondary, this is more of a burst damage, more of a snowballing rune page, and I wouldn't blame you if you ran this because it does give you sudden impact. This one is a damage rune that after you use a dash, which Briar has 2 of at minimum, you get a burst of damage, and it's actually pretty noticeable within all of your combos. And then Treasure Hunter ends up giving you around like 450 gold in the game. So when you think of free boots, it's like, well, that's 300, but I don't have to do anything, and it gives me 10 more movement speed. This is a conditional 450, kind of where you stand. Basically, Domination Rune is all about the snowball. Do you feel consistent in your early games? This could have a lot of value to you. Next up is Sorcery. If you were going Sorcery, you'd likely go something like this, you know, Transcendence for a little bit more ability, Haste or Water Walking for some movement speed, and Adaptive Force while in the river. These are okay, more conditional, less consistent value, so I usually stay away from these. And then you have Resolve. Resolve is actually like pretty good. You have heal and shield power you can take, or you can go Overgrowth for more just flat out health. And then you have Conditioning, which can give you more tank stats. So this is actually very real in jungle. I will say it's just kind of meh. I prefer the getting to my first item and having more flashes over just being, you know, tankier at certain points of the game, because if I flash and I kill someone very important, then I feel like that's very valuable. Now, Press the Attack we covered has a lot of initial burst and then helps you scale with 8%. Lethal Tempo is like the evil twin brother in a way, where this plays to get 6 auto attacks and then it ramps up into extra damage. So instead of putting your damage in the front, you put it in the back. Most people that usually like this like the longer fights, which tend to happen in lower elos like Diamond and under. But again, it is like more of a conditional value where you have to get 6 autos before it, and some fights happen in really bursty chunks rather than long engagements. Overall, this is a very real page, and I think you definitely could use it, so definitely give this a try if you're finding that you're running out of damage halfway through a team fight. Here's the third most competitive build, and this one actually plays a little bit different than the standard bruiser than you've seen. This is Lethality Briar. This one you build like Kiana, Zed, Talon, everyone like that. You hop in, deal your 3 auto attacks with a ton of damage damage. Hopefully one-shot that person pairing sudden impacts damage. Then you have your ward second tier rune. This one, Grizzly Mementos, is my favorite. It gives me more sweeper value or placing more wards. Sixth Sense is like a technical option that you can go where it'll just show you one random ward, but I feel like often it gets wasted, which sucks. It definitely could do better with that. You have Treasure Hunter, which just gives you money. This Relentless Hunter gives you movement speed, which you don't really need that much of, given how much that you already have. And then you have Ultimate Hunter, which lets you kick ult more. Secondary runes are pretty simple. It's either cashback. Cashback gives you a lot of gold when you purchase many items, but you have to get to a point to buy those items. So in early game, you effectively have no rune in this slot, but it is really good late game insurance to make sure that you get full build, which as an assassin, you should be playing to get kills, get items, and then snowball. So this is actually very real. Or you can just stick with magical footwear for the first item really quick, and you don't have to waste money for boots. And then Cosmic Insight is like almost always the extra choice here. You can experiment with Triple Tonic. It gives you like a burst window with some of these elixirs. Basically, they give you random various buffs. Level 3, you can kill minions better. Level 6, you get a good chunk of damage for a minute. And then level 9, you get an extra skill point. Does have a lot of value, is very good, but I just think flashing more is a lot better for an assassin. Let me talk to you about builds real quick. So this is Mobifire. I'm not sponsored or anything. I just use this website a lot because it's really good at streamlining information for you. If you check my YouTube catalog, I've tried like over 200 Briar builds. It's just something that I like to do. I think that Briar is very entertaining, and I like trying new stuff. But because of that, there's often people saying, Logan, you play so many builds, I don't know what to do. And I'm like, hey, go to the Mobifire. I always keep best build, second best build, always right here updated. It does not matter if it rains, storms, or anything. This will always be updated. So to keep you from getting lost, I think you should definitely just throw this a check every week, see if anything changed. Not many things change unless a League of Legends patch goes live. So like if Titanic Hydra isn't changed on a patch, it's likely going to stay really good. Now, Titanic Hydra is the best Briar build, but in this video, I'm actually going to play Bork by Cleaver for you, and I'm going to do that for a specific reason that a lot of new viewers will be watching this. Hello. How are you? They should start with Bork by Cleaver. The average player is sub Grandmasters. Titanic Hydra becomes like a really good high elo item, and Bork slays in low elo. So for the sake of playing the game how your games will look like, I'm going to play the second best build. And when you're ready to pick up Titanic Hydra and play the most competitive build, when you feel like you've refined your jungling and your understanding of Briar and everything, then swap over and do what you can do at around Masters. Now, this isn't a beginner guide, but I'll give you some of the bread and butter of the decision making that goes into playing this champion. So obviously, you can just W towards someone and then hop to him to Q, right? Or with Q. That is your jump to a target and start hitting now. But there is a more efficient damage option depending on how close you are. If I can just W close enough to this person and get an auto attack, I obviously want to reset my auto with Q. So sometimes you'll see me do a dash, auto then Q. That's if I don't need to deal damage really fast. They're not like about to get to a turret or their team and so on. So I can greed an extra hit. Sometimes it is the difference of killing or not. And then sometimes you just need to send for a full WQ to start hitting, to slow them down, right? Stunning them stops them from walking, slows them down from getting to their team. And depending on the situation, you might need to do that. Now, it is important to note that Briar's Q is 0.85 stun, and charging up E is 1 second cast. So you can't QE completely. They are always given the ability to walk out of it. Sometimes easier, sometimes harder, depending on your E angle. But overall, it is pretty consistent if you pair that with like another slow. So like, you know, if I get my Bork slow right there, it does make it a little harder for them to get out of. That also works for like things like red buff or a team slow, something like that. So it's good to keep in mind. So sometimes you will see QE, sometimes you will see W auto Q, sometimes you'll see WQ, right? And those are like the main bread and butter things. One of the last like big things that you need to know is that when you ult someone, you get the improved frenzy. Now again, this spell, right, gives me frenzy forever towards this target, no matter what, until they die or I hit E. So it's important to know that you will be running semi-linear, but there are like small things you can do to dodge spells because, you know, sometimes that big stun's going to come out, so you can always just W, right? And that'll actually activate snack attack, so you can keep this timer or look at this square to know that you can use W1 and then W2, and it doesn't override it, doesn't mess it up or anything. And you can also ward hop if you want and do some Wing. Some of that is also pretty noticeably good. And then one of the last things is, so the full charging of E, right, is you know, a big stun, and it'll push enemies back. So let's show you one quick one. So fully charged, we'll push this back, If it hits a wall, it stuns. You don't have to fully charge it. You can do something like that. And that breath attack still actually applies an 80% slow for 0.5. So sometimes if I'm autoing someone and I don't want to stop, like I don't want to push them back, sometimes I want them to stop walking just for a little bit to get one extra auto. This applies to early game a little bit. Sometimes you'll see me do a tap E. So that is those are the most like bread and butter basics that I can give you. It's really just a bunch of like small damage amps, but also just knowing what's on the other end. You know, when I hit R and I hit W, what actually happens. And if I can give that information to you now, save you some time, that's the point here. So thank you, and let's get into the game. Now that we're in the game, I'm going to try and give you my general game plan. I think this is something that a lot of people lack. And just not like having an idea of what you want to accomplish can definitely like leave you feeling like you didn't learn something or that the game kind of just got away from you. The number one main thing that I try and do is I try and clear all my camps and then utilize the time between the camps to get a play, if that be a gank or a neutral objective. Now, ganks and neutrals can be approached in so many different ways, depending on your champion and just how you like to, you know, even like just get the job done. But this is just how I do it. So you'll see me put a big priority on either, you know, well, one, just flat out farming my camp. So I'm doing raptors. I have to do all my camps, do the crab, and then come back for my raptors and my krugs. And if I stray one even gank top lane after the crab, then I might lose my raptors, and that actually can be a huge compiling bad thing to happen to me. So when you do raptor start, you do have to be very aware. If you do stray away, that you need to start recovering ASAP, because you don't want enemy team, obviously, to get any advantage into you. Why would you ever give that? So that's what you're going to see early game, is just efficient clearing, and you need to really prioritize learning your full clear. You should never do your full clear slow just because you're unwilling to go into practice tool, because if you're 1 second late to getting to top lane to stop your Riven from losing to Aurelia, and then that Aurelia dropping 30 kills on your head, you don't want to be late for no reason, right? So for that reason, I like to practice it a ton and make sure I can clear my camps very, very efficiently. That's what I do. And I do have a full clear guide for anyone that's trying to get a little bit better about that part, but either way, again, you're just seeing me clear camps and clear camps and clear camps right now. Now, before you go to this crab, it's pretty good to look for prio. Prio can be this like really annoying thing sometimes where, you know, I might not be able to go to this crab if Skarner would walk to me first. Now, I assume in this position that Kennen would be happier to walk. So how Ivern works is Ivern can't steal your camp if you're dealing damage to it. He needs to stand next to it and like channel his thing. So he just walked over here, did nothing. We take the crab and we're good. Now, one cool thing that I'm actually trying to do right now. Oh my god, he kind of got a little rolled there, but he recovered it super well. I'm going to ping ASAP. I always think you should be pinging enemy jungler. Never let anything like this happen for free. We could then look for a bot gank here, or we can look for our own camps. I think I'm going to look for my own camps because it looks like their Annie might walk to me here. Maybe if I was on board. They do want to look for a gank because Ivern's there, but again, you have to be disciplined with your clear. If I take the gank, that's essentially saying like, hey, you guys will carry this game. You know, if it's at the cost of my own resource. So because of that, I'm just going to believe in myself to carry this game. Take my camp. Now, we are good. Now, you can see my next camp is my wolves. And not trying to have this be too much of a, like, how to clear guide, but this is just what you have to keep in mind when you play Briar and Bruisers. They need to function from even or ahead. And so if you're not those, the game gets very tough, and it does not feel good. Oh my god, my recall just went through. That sucks, bro. I'm so sorry, my boy. Pray he lives, though. And he's the GOAT of all time. Good shit. Okay, so now we're in the same position right here where we have been clearing, and you see that there's like some pressure that's actually being applied, but unless it's pressure that I can do something about, I'm really not like too happy to try and do something with it. So I actually can look right here. wave is pushing back to us, so he actually doesn't need to fight this, and I can continue to gain an advantage over Ivern like this. So again, we're going to show some discipline here. And again, I think it's very important for your consistency that like you only walk to plays that you think or know that you would like get something positive out of in more times than not. So now I have 48 seconds until my Raptors are up, so that means I have that much time to clear or to gank. Life is good, or do a neutral if that's what I plan to do. You have all of these options now, and you can see that you're instantly rewarded because, well, would you look at that? There's no trade here. There's nothing for Ivern to do to make my game unplayable in this spot. So because of that, yeah, life is good. Feel free to spend another 20 seconds on that play. So now, again, I have 18 seconds here. I'm going to try and utilize that to gank mid lane. I'm going to take this Scryer away. Don't leave them anything. We don't really know where or why she's going this way. I'm going to try and sneak level 6 on my experience bar by standing next to that minion before it dies. Then I will actually send my ultimate by getting that level up. We hit Aurelia, so we're going to play the stun here. Good. Good. I don't think we need to hit the blast cone. They're likely going to get dragon. That part's going to suck a little bit unless they already left it. But we're still going to play for this fight. I'm going to take a lot of damage. I might even die here, but it'll be a worth trade. Even if I do die, it looks like I won't have to. And there we go. Nice. Would you look at that? And again, right, when you think about how this game has already started to look good, it's because I don't get baited into just following what my team thinks. Okay? I am the jungler. They are the mid laners. Okay? They are the AD carries. They are the whatevers. I know more about what will cause my game some issues, and those issues will likely be, oh, I took this gank, and because I took this gank, now I lost this camp, and then he got level 7, and then he turned it into this thing. That's not what we want to happen. Now, unfortunately, I wasn't able to get the dragon. That does suck, but I was able to get us, 4 kills or take part in 4 kills. And how that trickles downwards, maybe it meant that Aurelia killed Anivia there, right? It doesn't really matter to me. Trying to get too much, like, quantifiable value there. I'm going to try and help him. Okay, let's leave. I wanted to try and go bot there to try and get my Blade of the Ruined King, but it seems like Ivern might even be walking there too, so I'm just going to head on out. Now, one thing I do, I'm very greedy, okay? So I need 1,200 monies to get this Blade of the Ruined King on my next recall. But I just bought 2 ruby crystals. Why did I do that? Now, that's more advanced. I don't think you should always do this, but my guess is that before I recall again, I'll have that much money to get Bork. And because I wouldn't have Bork regardless, I would only have Vamp Scepter. I'm going to buy 2 ruby crystals because they're going to build into my next item. So you can see kind of how I'm looking at it is that, like, if I don't have Bork this recall anyway, then I would likely want the stats from the next item, and so on and so forth. I feel like Ivern's just hitting these, unfortunately. I'm just going to have to run and take the fight against him. I'm actually going to ultimate him here since Daisy's about to knock me up. And then we're pretty good. Get the kill on him there. And then we're actually just going to take this straight to the Grabannulars. Nice. My Kennen wants me to just take a gank and we one-shot, but I think we're actually wasting too much time. So I'm just going to, despite we likely do kill Skarner here, if I take too long on Skarner, then I'm going to lose my opportunity to get the kill on these grubs because Ivern will come back. So because of that, I have to just kind of follow my own judgment here and go for the neutral. Bang. And you can see, like, my Kennen's low health with ultimate. Like, we very much so could do that, but you have to think of what happens after that, which likely would be something pretty bad. Oh, yeah, here it is. The kill. And now, Ivern might trade my bot side camps for this, but I'm actually kind of okay with that. Briar's auto-pathing to Skarner in that state was pretty weird, but I might put him into the wall. I could try. Uh-huh. That's okay. To be fair, Kennen could have stepped up there, and we could have gotten that kill. The reality is that we don't actually need it. Him getting those minions under the turret might give him a recall, and that could be very good. Kenny Ward? No. I wasn't able to communicate with him fast enough. I don't dislike him recalling. You can actually ward while recalling. I just have a hunch that Ivern's going to walk bot side. At least he didn't walk to my camps, I guess. Yet, because he's definitely going to my my Krugs here. So what Ivern does is he marks a camp. He can smite it to instantly proc it. Otherwise, he has to wait a little bit of downtime. And that's what we didn't want to happen. Like, we didn't want to lose that just to gank top, but we did. And now you can see kind of the mistake. Now, again, I like all my camps to be dead, or as many as I possibly can have dead before I go for dragon. So you see that dragon's up in 40 seconds. So you know exactly what I'm doing right now, right? I was going to clear all of them and just do my thing, but now, you know, he took the Krug, so I just changed direction a little bit, keep moving. And that is the essence of how I play Briar, is that, you know, I keep myself very farmed up, so I'm always very strong, but on top of just being flat out strong myself, you know, I look for ganks to help my team, but it's only when it is actually good. It either, you know, it can be good through wave state, there's cooldowns, enemy team just being too far up. You know, it can show itself in many different ways. But now you see, right, look at the farm here, where, you know, 9 CS a minute. We have the grubs, and they got first dragon, but now we're getting second drake. Life is good. So yeah, this is where I'm at to carry games. Stay on the farm train, man. Stay on the farm. So now we get this neutral. Life is good. Now you have 30 seconds till your red buff, right? But you also do want that crab so that you're doing something in the meantime. Aurelia's taking another gank. So, like, we could just gank this Anivia, I guess. Right now, you got to think that enemy team is staring at me to some degree. Off that, I'm fine. It's gonna chunk. It's fine though. I'm not too worried about it. They're looking to kill here. Ivern might go for the crab. I'm gonna look for a counter ult on that one. Nice. Now I can defend the crab. Boom. You're gone. And that's the coolest part about Briar, is that right there, where like I can kind of mess up a little bit, or sometimes I can get forced to do a job that I don't want to do, but I can make it work because I ultimate to the exact pinpoint location of an enemy, kill that enemy, and then I'm back to the grind, right? So, oh, I needed to be at that crab, but I also want to be bot side. That's cool. Pick up the mid wave, ult to the noob, kill him, and then get the crab, and then you're back to farming. And now you can see, right? There's no neutral on this map. I'm back to full clearing, and then once this full clear is done, I'm going to look for, you know, plays with my team. And that's where Blade of the Ruined King actually does a ton of good stuff, where Blade of the Ruined King kills camps very, 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 very fast. So makes your clearing pretty sweet. And again, you can queue to like blast cones and scryers and even minions and allied champions. Like, you can do all of that. So you know, it's just a, you know, these 1% improvements to make the game a little bit more you know, cool, badass. I don't know. And you can see now, right? How much time do I have before I have to do something? I have 1 minute and 20 seconds. I could take a recall. I could go fight right now. I can do all of these things. So I'm going to look for an invade now. Looks like this Skarner's trying to stop our Kennen. He is likely getting his red, and then he is going to smite it. I doubt he's still in here, but I could check it with W. If he was in there, then Briar would have ran to him. Looks like he got these camps. Now he's leaving to go to his bot side. He marked this one, but didn't have smite because he likely smited the red buff, so we can take this one. Now he's on his wolves. I have 40 seconds to the next big thing, so I'm going to take my recall now. Right, like until 30 seconds are up for my blue buff, I can recall with no loss. Not like Ivern's doing anything either. Always worth to take TP. And now I'm back on the map, and I have 20 seconds until, so now let's go for a gank on this guy. Well, so Kennen's actually going to go for that wave. I'm going to gank this Skarner and just kill him myself, I think. Oh, he drove through the wall down here. So I might not be able to catch him. That's okay. We actually we're denying him a wave in doing this. So life is good. Aurelia took another bot walk. So I don't really know what's going on. I hope Tristana just swaps now. That way we can stop losing that. Technically, you know, I lost a wave mid to go to top lane, but I made him lose the wave. So it's kind of even. But what it did do is it let me kill my blue buff, so I have more ability haste for this play. They are all three there. We need our Braum badly. We might have to, you know, back against the wall, shoot an ultimate here, because we're down a player on the Kennen, so we have to go for the Ivern here. We have to flash past his Q, because we don't want to lose that. Bleed should kill this guy. I'm likely dead, I'm not going to lie to you guys, but I'm going to try my best to juice. Nice. Now, if Tristan lives, that's 2 for 2. Now, trades favor the team that's behind, undeniably true, but you won't have a game that doesn't have some, you know, some trades that go the opposite direction. And it actually worked out for us. We got 4 for 2. So that was just, you know, it ended up being good. But yeah, you won't just always be able to have a game without trades. It is what it is. Sometimes you got to cook up. Like, you know, one way that you can see it is that I didn't have to ult the Ivern. I could have just let them have the Rift Herald. But the opportunity to, you know, not have to lose the Rift Herald and give us a winning play was the route that I decided to go with that. And I don't regret it. You know, for this game, there's certain games where you have to do that. Me hitting these wolves is not that good. Because, again, you don't want, like, neutral objective trades. So our preference were to have been kill the Rift Herald so that we could have, you know, Dragon without a trade. But we actually just saw Ivern, so we know that Ivern isn't on Dragon right now, so we can do this, and then we can go right to Drag. If they were to be rushing it right now and my team is, like, able to fight for it, then I would just be playing it with them. That guy hit didn't count. That's okay. We're actually seeing Ivern again. So life is good. So we're going to grab this. Now, again, look at your top side, right? There is nothing on my top side to trade, so I'm going to go to Dragon. My Kennen will be their trade. He is, he's limit testing a little bit. He's 1 in 5. My team, unless Ezreal ult just gets that Dragon. Where is this at? Oh my god. Nice. I do want this crab, since there's nothing else to really do, but I don't want to walk past my Krugs for no reason. And again, this match has turned into anarchy. A lot more games will have a like more confirmed play where, you know, people aren't sending it as much. But you know, some games are like this, and it's okay to like kind of, you know, figure out what these games look like a little bit, because you know, you will have some crazy matches, especially when you play Briar. Briar makes the game like go into anarchy really fast. Because she loves the fight, man. She really does. So Q auto E there. Again, just auto spacing between everything that I do. I have 24 seconds to my second camp, so before I go to my red buff, I'm going to take the recall, since there's enough time for me to recall and take the TP, get the red, and then go to wolves. Again, you actually should, at this point, prioritize, like when your team's ahead and we're starting to press into their side of the map, you should actually care more about getting their camps than your own. So right here is where we stop farming, and maybe it could have been even a few frames before this. Their camps are worth double, right? Money they don't get, money I do get. So we see them sending 4 people top lane, so we want to trade their bot side here. If there were more turrets, like a tier 1 or a tier 2, then we would likely be Rift Heralding it. But there just isn't this time. Ivern's sitting there looking for a play, I guess. They're starting to make their big move onto that, so Ivern's now going to start walking to here. Unfortunate death. Not really necessary, but it's what happened. I'm going to try and burst through that. We at least get exhaust cooldown. So that's not too bad. It has to be warded with the way that they played. So now we've taken Ivern's camps. Now let's take Ivern's camps again. He's going to look to smite this one, so he's trying to mark it and then smite. So we have to use ultimate to deny him that camp. And again, if you want to start taking the game away from people, you got to figure out when you don't need to farm your own camps as much, and you need to just go to theirs. Because if you play like this, where you prioritize their camps, what will end up happening is if you're ever in a position where you can't take their camps in a game where you should be able to, like, you know, two of your teammates die, then your default play becomes do your camps. But if you do your camps, then go for their camps, what will end up happening is that, you know, if you do all your camps and then, oh man, I can't go to their camps, my teammates died, well, then you're left with nothing to do, and then you're going to get antsy and you're going to send it and you're going to die. So you gotta, I've made that mistake more times than games you've queued up. Okay, trust me on that one. Yeah, so the Briar basic game plan is, again, I keep myself very well fed, right? And then I look for very consistent plays. I'm not trying to oversend for something. I'm always thinking of what will happen in response to me looking for something. And throughout all of that, you know, everything starts basically landing where it should. Nice. Spend all my money before this dragon. But yeah, this current match ended up just being a stomp. Like, I don't know, man, we're all winning. Except for Kennen, I guess. But, I mean, that's the consistency that we talk about. I try and not have a lot of variance in my play. I don't like to just, like, hey, I'm going to take a level 2 gank, and then I'm going to do one camp, take a level 3 gank, then I'm going to clear as many camps as I just feel like. I try and have the same game plan going into every single match. And then I just figure out the different avenues from that. Like, oh, if they invaded here, then I would do this. And if they do that, then I would have done that. And that's how I build consistency in my climb, is just by doing stuff like this. And as you can see, man, it definitely pans out and works really well. I mean, I got most farm in the game. I'm more than 10 CS a minute with 13 KP and almost every neutral. So clearly this stuff works. And again, this game was like the lowest elo that high elo can really look like, which is awesome. But reality is that you know, here are the tools, right? The tools are farm, then I look for ganks, and I look for neutrals, and I'm always thinking of what enemy jungler is going to do in the free time, like, or rather, you know, to counter it. And that's just it, man. And this is currently my highest ranked jungle account because I've been doing the mid lane challenge. And this stuff works every time, man. It felt illegal for me to not show you guys this play. So this is one of the videos that I made previously. And basically what I do here is I'm trying to open your mind to the cooler things about Briar. Again, just going forward and killing people is very cool. But let's talk about the thought process. So I have, in this game, full cleared, got my crab, full cleared again, and now I'm doing dragon. Okay, and you can see that this dragon will always give you level 6 if you hit double full clear. And I think that their jungler is topside. So what do? I actually just shoot my ultimate, and this is just a hawk shot ult, where basically, if, you know, depending on the pathing, if my topside camps are up, if the enemy jungler's bot side camps are up, if he's invading my top side, then I need the info to know to go to his bot side so I don't lose camps. I can at least trade them. So in this circumstance, I just shoot ult over both of them. Briar ult does give vision, you can see that. And because of that, now I have the information that, okay, I thought he was topside, he's not, so the likelihood of being bot is higher, so now I can ping off my bot lane, and then I can take my topside camps, and then life ends up pretty good. And that's something that does have a lot of value in Briar, and I will say, you know, like, this specific hawkshot ultimate, it's something I do it often enough to put it in this video. So for all my zoning ult users, this one's for you. Thank you so much for watching the video. Have a good one. Peace.